Great, thank you. Thank you, Erin. Chairman Holloway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It is an honor to be here to speak. After 30-plus years as an educator, I have seen a lot of educational reform, and I'm here to speak about the latest one, which is the Common Core. Last week, I was in a classroom in my school where students were writing an opinion paper. The prompt was to express their opinion on whether the Titanic tragedy could have been avoided. They had to document reasons from their reading to support their opinion. They had to have proper grammar and spelling, and they had to have correct structure for their paper and supporting details for their topic sentences. These children are 9. They're in 4th grade. Their teacher showed her creativity and understanding that she had to teach writing historical events, but she also had to teach students how to analyze literature. She integrated both of these into a writing lesson that was probably harder than students in the past had to complete in the same grade level. This is an example of the Common Core standards in action. I actually have 3 of the rough drafts with me if you'd like to see them, but you have to give them back. They are in rough draft form. A synonym for the word rigor is inflexibility, and the word rigor seems to be used a lot in the Common Core. This actually is the opposite of the Common Core, which really does give teachers flexibility to create within. Common Core state standards were created to teach students to think creatively, to read and write critically, and to complete math problems that are relevant to the real world. They were created to enable our students to compete in a world market with skills that would help them be successful in college and careers, including collaborative skills so important in places like the Silicon Valley and the Research Triangle. They're aligned with national tests such as the SAT and the ACT. This is a good thing, because in 2013, North Carolina students ranked 38 out of the 50 states in SAT scores. Common Core state standards require students to use technology naturally as a tool. Is this needed? Absolutely. Consider that seniors in our high school were 6 years old when the first BlackBerry came out. Almost every student in North Carolina schools right now has actually grown up with a computer in their hands. The Common Core state standards address the growing technological expertise of our children. With my master's degree in technology and education, this is really important, and I see it as essential to students' progress. The Common Core may be the curriculum whose time has come. Who can argue with having high expectations of learning for each and every student in our schools? Who can argue with a curriculum that is based on higher order thinking skills in Bloom's taxonomy, to relevance in a technologically charged world, and the ability to think critically and solve multi-step problems with ease and confidence? This is the promise of the Common Core. Full implementation of any change is not without its challenges, and the Common Core is no exception. I find it interesting, however, that every concern in education right now is being attributed to the Common Core. It's like the blind man and the elephant. Whoever you talk to, the understanding of the Common Core is different. To some it means new tests. To others it means technology. One person may think it's about new math. Another may think it means students always have to work in partners. This is to be expected with any change, but especially with a change this big. Implementation of the Common Core is not just a change in curriculum, but a fundamental change in how we do school. The issues surrounding the implementation also have more to do with other changes in education that are occurring at the same time as the move to the Common Core. These changes are neither correlation nor causation, but simply coincidence in that they're all happening at the same time. In retrospect, the implementation should have been more gradual, allowing for time between the different changes that were necessary for a correct implementation of the Common Core. The issue of time to get used to the change is one aspect of our implementation dip. The challenge is that we have not been allowed to have a dip in our implementation. No time was given to schools to adjust to the more rigorous demands. The first round of testing showed educators in our state where we had to adjust to bring our students to proficiency towards the more stringent standards. However, testing our students more often with mandated assessments has taken away instructional time from teachers without giving them the feedback they need to determine what their next steps are in instruction. We need to trust our teachers to create tests that will give them the information they need. Our teachers work together every day in teams to look at strategies, plans, and best practices for each student. and they rely on immediate information to determine student needs, not the results of a test taken too late to help our children. The high-stakes nature of the test is another issue with the implementation of the Common Core. In the McKinsey report of 2007, the city of Boston was considered to be an up-and-coming school system. After implementing their educational reform, Boston increased the number of students meeting their standards from 25% to 74% in math, and from 43% to 77% in English. Great growth. It took them 6 years. Should we not allow time for our state to make equal or even better growth? Using the test scores now on grading schools and teachers will not lead to greater progress. According to the same report, and I quote, "Improvement comes from building capacity and harnessing the motivation that teachers and schools already have. Additional pressure just leads to regressive behaviors, such as teaching to the test or drilling students on examination questions." End of quote. Certainly we should look for growth over time, but we should also allow for a dip in scores that will come when teachers take those professional risks to add value to their students' education. Another challenge that we face with the implementation of the Common Core is the lack of available resources. The Common Core is dynamic. It changes to keep up with the times, and the times are changing. It is estimated that over the next 30 years, 70% of today's jobs will be automated. Sites such as Pinterest and teacherspayteachers.com have proliferated over the last couple of years as teachers have developed common themes and units and collaborated on strategies and activities with teachers across the country. Teachers are working collaborative groups now more than ever. Collaborative planning has actually become a necessity for teachers with their limited time. This is not a bad thing, but the scramble for resources has become a hardship for our profession. There's a sense of building the boat while we're sailing it. Teachers need a reliable place to find the resources that will be required to teach the new curriculum. For teachers who are passionate about doing things the right way and making sure that each child's needs is met, this struggle to find resources is leading to burnout and pressure for our best and brightest teachers. And the funding for these resources has already stretched school budgets. Additionally, the need for increased technology has put a burden on the already tight budgets, and the next generation of testing will require students to have access to technology many schools just don't have. In conclusion, the Common Core state standards will bring North Carolina's schools into the future. As one teacher said in an NCAE poll, "I see positive changes about being implemented as a result of the Common Core standards." Teachers are being challenged to rethink the way they teach, to be sure their lessons are relevant and are truly building conceptual knowledge and understanding for students. Students are being challenged to rethink the way they learn. They are defending and justifying the knowledge gained, which is making them more accountable for their actions in the classroom. End of quote. The challenges of the Common Core are not insurmountable, but they do need to be addressed carefully and fully to help our children realize their full potential in this changing world. Thank you.